Hi, everyone. Welcome to the very first chapter of digital marketing. So, this chapter is going to be covering how you should create a customer avatar. The textbook that you have is actually set up in a book format. I think you'll find it probably more enjoyable than an actual textbook. It's really informative. The author that wrote it is phenomenal. She has so many accomplishments in the digital marketing field. So I think that you're really going to enjoy not only the book, which looks like a novel, but the text is bigger and the chapters are shorter. So you are welcome. So let's go ahead and dive into chapter one. So, what is this chapter covering? Well, the chapter is going to be covering what a customer avatar is, how to advance a customer avatar, and how to build customer avatars. So, this is actually one of my favorite quotes in the whole entire world. Is Steve Jobs? He's the Apple co-founder. He said that get closer than ever to your customers, so close that you tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves. So that is a very powerful quote, and it doesn't mean befriending your customers. It means knowing them. So, like, how do you get to know them? Well, first off, you have to know who is it. Who are you looking for? So, knowing your customer. The first step to get to know is you have to know like how to find them online and offline. Where do they go? What do they like to do? What sites are they looking at? What shops do they go to? So it's not just a digital marketing realm. You're not just tracking them on social media, on in a website. You're tracking them also like in a brick and mortar store. If an organization has a brick and mortar store format and an online website, that's ideal because they know exactly the essential steps for that business. Companies also need to create this ideal customer. So, the ideal customer is going to assist an organization on problem solving, and it also will create content based on consumer engagement. Now, consumer engagement is vital for any organization, especially social media and websites, because you're trying to attract the consumer or the individual into your website. So you have to like know who this person is and then create and tailor content based on how that person acts. And once you know how they behave and act, then you can really tap into that engagement. And then they start funneling into your website and go deeper and deeper and deeper. So, finding a successful conversion. So, conversions are super important. Your textbook will go a little more detail about this, but a conversion is anything that happens on a website or social media. That's a goal, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a purchase. For example, purchases are probably counted as a conversion in an e-commerce, but it could also be signing up for an email or downloading a PDF. It's something that's letting the business know like you're interested in that business format. So, to find a successful conversion, it all goes back to this engagement. And first, you have to create the customer avatar or the ideal customer, and it'll help you understand their aims or goals. What are their goals? What are they trying to do? How are they aiming to get this source? The source of information. So, what sources of information are they looking at? Are they looking at Facebook and Instagram? Are they looking at searching on Google? Are they looking in magazines? How are they doing this? How are they finding information out about businesses and your target audience? Problems to solve. So you can also know what problems the ideal customer has and how your business can solve them. And then what objections are they going to have in the future on your purchase? So an example would be like maybe Apple, since we talked about Steve Jobs a second ago. Apple, when they had their new iPhone 10, it was the first iPhone ever that was over $1,000. And so, for that objection, Apple decided that they were also going to release the iPhone 8, which was in the normal price range. I think it was around $600 to $700. And so, what they did was they took the people who were diehard Apple people who probably have a higher disposable income, and they created the iPhone 10, and the iPhone 10 was marked up really high. But then they also used this like objection to purchase by releasing another product that followed the format that they've always used. And it was still expensive, but it wasn't as expensive as the phone that they had released. So that was one of the ways that they were overcoming their ideal customer's objection. Considering tracking customer avatars. So, how are you going to find these people? Well, the first thing you're going to look at is demographics, their shopping habits, location, their job role, and description. Description is important here because just because I have like a role in a position at a company, what does that mean? Is there a need that needs to be met? And that is very important to maybe a B2B company, which is called a business to business company. That is really important because maybe in that description of their role, it tells the company that they might be needing a new laptop. And Dell, for instance, a Dell computer might be needed at that facility, and that description will tell them. And so it's something that you can think about. Interest in a product. What is making them interested in the product or service? And then what is the need for this product or service? So these are all identifying factors that need to be tracked by digital marketers about their customer avatars. How do digital marketers get this information? That's actually such a good question, and I hear that all the time. Well, first, they have to have customer surveys. I'm sure you have an email sent to you after you make a purchase, especially online. I always get emails about hair products, which is really funny because this photo has like all these hair dye. So I always get example or samples of customer surveys from an email, and I'm really big on this brand called InnerSense. And every time I purchase a product from InnerSense, they send me an email saying, how did I like it? Was it worth my money? What can they do differently? Is there a better way to communicate? Will they sign up for will I sign up for their email list to send like continuous updates? So that's something super important to a company, and it's so valuable. My information, how old I am, who I am, and then what I think about their products or services. Customer testimonial. This is like maybe like your experience. A lot of people do this through blogging or vlogging, which is video blogging. A lot of influencers do this on Instagram. So customer testimonials of like how you experienced this product or service is very crucial for companies to understand the information about their product or service, what they can do better, and about their consumer. Customer review. I look on Yelp every single time I'm about to purchase or go somewhere. Yelp is awesome. I also look at Amazon reviews, even if I don't purchase on Amazon, which is highly unlikely I don't. But customer reviews are important to me, and they also are important to digital marketers. Digital marketers can look through these reviews, find out where the consumers are located that reviewed it. If it's a negative review, how can they fix this service? And then they can also get in contact with their people. Interviewing clients or potential clients. There are actually studies where people can be interviewed in a like panel. It's also easy to do on a phone call or just a survey. The Nielsen survey is not only mailed out, but it's also a digital survey that you take online. You answer all of these questions for Nielsen's survey, and digital marketers in the U.S. Census basically gets to know everything about your household. What are you married? Are you single? Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? Are you a single parent with kids in the household, or are they grown up? How much money do you make? What do you do? It's all this interesting stuff, which also goes into research online, and then search keywords and social on social channels and Google. So keywords are really important, and we'll talk about this more later throughout the semester. But keywords are words that are identifiable on the internet. And so an example would be, I'm looking for running shoes, and running shoes triggers this keyword, right? And the keyword running or shoes or both might pull up like companies on Google like Nike or Brooks, Adidas, so Asics, anything for running shoes. That's a keyword that I have typed in. Digital marketers can go back and look and see how many people, where they're located, that are typing in these particular keywords. And you can also do that on social channels. Hashtags have been so important for digital marketers. Hashtags can be created by anyone, and you can hashtag basically everything. But it's also important for digital marketers to track their hashtag that maybe is about their key consumer or about the organization. Okay, so how do you create this customer avatar? Well, that's a really good question. There's actually 12 steps. So the first one is, where do my customers hang out, both online and in the physical world? So where are they hanging out? Also, what websites do they visit? What do they read? What do they watch? Types of videos? What channels on YouTube are they subscribing to? What are their interests? What are their goals? Who are their influencers? Who are your competitors that may buy from or work with? Who do they want to please, if it's themselves or boss or a team? Who are they responsible for? Who might they let down or fail? Consider their working environment such issues such as safety concerns. And then what worries them? So not only are you looking at uh, the consumer as a whole, you're also looking at the benefits, what they bring to the table, and also the stuff that kind of stresses them out a little bit. Because if you can say, do or produce something that makes them super happy or takes away something that they are worried about, consumers will come to your business. Here is an example of a customer avatar worksheet. This is in your textbook. It's you can use this, but it's just like saying like their goals, their values, sources of information, and you fill all of this stuff out, and then you've created one example of a customer avatar. Now, a customer avatar is the ideal person. You can have as many customer avatars as you'd like. If let's say for instance, Dillard's department store is not just one person. They have several different departments. They have a women's department, kids departments, men's department. They have home goods. So they have to figure out who the ideal consumer is per department. And then if you even break that down further, like if you're thinking of women's, is it women's shoes? Are you looking at women's athletic clothing? Are you looking for women's dresses? Is it a formal dress? Who is that? Who are those ideal consumers for each department, each section? So it's all about how deep you want to go. And the deeper you go, honestly, the better your marketing campaigns will be online and offline. So that's it for chapter one. So the chapter review, well, we learned that we examined the customer avatars for organizations, how you can locate the ideal consumer, and we analyzed building the customer avatar worksheet. If you all have any questions at all about this chapter, it's fairly short. I think your little textbook novel is only like 4 or 5 pages for this section, but it's super important to start building a foundation. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to set up a Zoom meeting with you or email you. Other than that, I will talk to you very soon.